Okay, okay, it's different. Okay. Okay, good morning. My name is David García-Solórzano. Come from Open University of Catalonia, and I'm going to explain part of my PhD that is called Educational Monitoring Tool Based on Faceted Browsing and Data Portraits. First of all, this is the presentation outline. Why did we do this research, the proposal, conclusions, and future work? Why did we do this research? Well, first of all, we have to know what is the role of the teacher in a full online education environment. And online education involves a student-centered learning approach in which students take primary responsibility for their learning process. So, however, many learners become disoriented, frustrated, and confused if they don't receive the support, feedback, or guidance. So it's very important the role of the teacher in this environment, and because this all drawbacks creates high dropout rate. So teachers should be facilitators who guide students throughout the course so that learners achieve learning goals. The typical scenario is we use an LMS, and the student interact with it, and the LMS stores a lot of data, for example, access, resources, information about assignments, and the teacher can use this data. But many times, the LMS provides this information like this. Okay, that it's a LAK, a lot of text, raw text, and it's not useful for teachers because it's poor structure, tabular format, and difficult to understand. So we propose the following approach. There are a lot of proposals which suggest transforming textual data into visual data. It implies using information visualization techniques. And this is the focus of this approach. First of all, we have all the information in a database, and this, for example, logs. And the idea is to process this data with minimum cost. And the result is simple statistics, means, the mode, etc. With this information, we transfer this information into visual data. For example, a bar chart. This bar chart, or another graph, reveals facts, trends, and patterns that teachers can use in combination with her expertise, previous knowledge about the course, etc. The combination of all this information allows to inference unknown information. What kind of information? Basically, two kinds of information. The information about the whole class, and information of a specific, an individual student. In this proposal, we focus on both sides and both types of information, and we use for the whole class Faceted browsing, and for individual student information, data portraits. Okay. This is the proposal of a Faceted browsing. We can see that on the right hand, we can see the class roster, and on the left side there is a menu with attributes. Okay, each student is represented with a card that includes his photo. That is blurred, but is clear in the real prototype. The name and the surname. And the orange background, that means the amount of activities that the student has complete. Okay, is the studying pace. The red border that you can see more or less. It means that if it disappears, it indicates that the student will not pass the course if it finished today. Okay, it's an indicator that this student it's about to drop out or fail. Okay, and the dashed border around the photo, if it appears, it means that this student repeats the subject. Okay, it's not the first time that he is enrolled in the course. Okay, on the left side we can see the menu that allows teachers to explore and filter their class by establishing different combination of values for a set of facets. The categories that we use are the gender, male, female, the status, if it's a new student or he's repeating, the performance, that there are two subcategories, the pace, the amount of activities that they have complete, and the continuous assessment assignments, okay, the average of the formative assessment. We also have information about the participation of the students, and these subcategories are the initial messages. It means how many conversations this student has started, the number of replies, the number of messages that he has read, and the average grade of the messages. Teachers can mark the messages, and this is the average of the messages, and the number of highlight messages that the teacher emphasize. The teacher can check message in order to highlight this message. And and the system also allows to order the class rows based on the name of the student, the pace, and the grade. Okay. How this system works? We can focus on this student, okay, on the right hand, and on the menu we can establish some values for this for this course. For example, we want to know what the students have complete more than 24% of the activities, and also they have an average grade between C+ to A. Okay, and we click on the filter button, and we see all the students, all the cars goes to the position that is that he allows. If you see the student goes from the right hand to the top, the top, and the final result is this one. There are some students that disappear, and others change their position. So now we can create a new query in order to retrieve more information about this result set. We can narrow down the result set in order to explore what is happening with our class. The other thing is when the teacher puts the mouse over one student, specific information about this learner is displayed. With this, we want to avoid displaying multiple graphics in order to provide different kinds of information about one student. In order to do this, to this end, we use data portraits. What are data portraits? Okay. In many tools, when we want to know information about individual student, we have to see different representation. For example, we have to see a bar chart that it's about the number of messages that students has written. There is another graph that represents the access information. We have to see different representations and combine this data on our mind and create our idea of this student. So the idea of data portraits is combine all this information in a single picture, and in order to create a overall idea of the student at a glance. Okay, our proposal is this one. He represents one student, all the information about one student. In the middle, we can see different colors that represents information about the participation. Okay, for example, the first square, the dark blue one, represents the number of posts that this student has written. The second one, the number of replies. The third one, number of message has read. The average grade messages, and the last one, the highlight messages. The intent and the color changes. The transparency changes according to the amount of messages that the student has posted or has replied, has read, etc. We also see that there are two markers on the top and on the bottom. On the top, we can see the student pace. This is a continual timeline that it goes to 0 to 100%. Is the number of activities that, the percentage of activities that have been complete. And on the bottom, we can see a discrete axis that represents the average grade, okay? If the border is red, it means that this student is about to fail, and if the border is dashed, it means that this student is repeating. For example, these are four examples of different students, and with these four data portraits, we can see different kinds of student at a glance. For example, the first one is a student that write a lot of posts, because the color of the first square is dark blue. So this student is an active student, starts a lot of conversations. The second one, we can see that he or she only has color in the 4 square. That means that he or she reads a lot of messages, but he doesn't write anything. So she or he is a lurker. Okay? Only read. And this third one, we can see this student doesn't start any conversation, but replies a lot of messages. So he is a good classmate, because he helps the other students in the class. We can see this profile of the student because the second square is dark, and he also reads a lot of messages, and he has a good average, etc. And this, so he replies a lot of messages. And this, the last one, we can see that his student doesn't write anything, doesn't read anything, and he also repeats the subject because it's a dash border, and also the markers is on the left, and also is the border is red. It means that this student is about to drop out. Okay. He drops out and repeats. So conclusions of and future work. We introduced another approach for monitoring the whole class, this faceted browsing, and a specific student that is data portrait. The faceted browser allows teachers to explore and analyze the class, the whole class, by requesting interactive tailored queries based on different combination of facets, of the values of the facets. It's user-friendly. It uses the photo, the position of the students, the color, the background, the border. And on the other hand, data portraits allow to compact all the information of an individual student in a single picture. Thereby, teachers can gain understanding of a student's behavior at first glance. Okay. And the future work, we have to conduct an experiment with teachers in order to detect strong and weak points of the proposal. First of all, we have to do a survey to check the effectiveness and the usefulness of the proposal, a focus group with 4 or 6 instructors in order to have information that is in-depth information. Thanks to these results, we will be able to improve the tool. And our ideas is create a plugin for Moodle. So if I think that I have enough time, if it's possible, and if there is internet access, I don't know. I would like to show you the system in action. Okay. It's possible. Okay. I think there is waiting. Okay. It's displaying properly. I'm sorry. But if you want to see this tool I can show you after the speech. Okay, if you have any question. Okay.
Sorry, just a quick question. Because of the heavy reliance on color for all this stuff, do you folks have any problems, or have you guys talked to people who are red-green colorblind using the system?
The color?
People who are colorblind.
Colorblind, okay. That is white, the color. Okay, one moment. The color of the pictures, you can see.
No, the bars. I mean, you have
Okay.
like reds and greens. And
Yeah, yeah, different colors. Yeah, now it's improved, and we put the meaning of each square in the data portrait, because if you use it often, it's easy to know what what is the meaning of each square. But if the intensive of the square means how the amount of messages that the student has posted or written, etc. Okay. A lot of red. Okay. Yeah. 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 this is a proposal, and we have to improve the colors and the idea, and this is why we have to conduct a focus group in order to improve these colors and it's only the idea to present the data purchase that they are not used enough, and the idea of use facet browsing that are used in other research field in education. But we have to improve the proposal. It's only the idea to introduce these two tools in education. Any question? Yeah, we use ad hoc LMS. It's not Moodle. It's part of my PhD, this LMS, and this data comes from this LMS. But this tool, the monitoring tool, is regardless of the LMS because it's a client side, and you only need to give it the information in XML, and it can use this XML in order to use the Faceted browser and the data portrait. So it's very easy to develop the Moodle plugin or something like that, because it doesn't depend on the LMS.
Hi, can I ask a question about why you've put so much emphasis on monitoring the types of interaction that the student has? So you're measuring how many messages they're reading, how many replies, why that's particularly important? Because we also work in distance learning, and for us, it's taken a long time to get to a position that lurking is actually quite okay for a lot of students. So I'm interested why you're making those differentiations between student activities.
We use this information because we have a lot of information about the forum discussions, and it's very difficult for online teachers to know what our students are doing, and if participation is very important in online education, it's useful for them, and if we can award them with a best grade, for example, extra point, if they write a lot, they replies, and this information is useful for us. And the LAKers is also a very important information, because there are researchers that explains that LAKers more or less obtains the same grade. But if you are all fully online environment, we don't know what is happening, and this information about forums and the studying pace are the only information that indicates to us what is happening in the class, because we don't have face-to-face interaction. So the forum and above all the information about the studying pace are the most useful information that we have. This is the reason. No, but this is one of the ideas that we have, because data portraits could use as a mirror that yourself, and you can know how the student, how the teacher see you, and what is your participation in your class, and we use in this LMS we use a dashboard that displays information about your own studying pace, your grades, etc. But we show this information disaggregated, and with data portraits we can use it for compact all this information. But one of the ideas, the proposal that we want to do in the future is use data portraits as a mirror or your own learning process, and it's this usage is very common in other research fields. That you can see, for example, that there are data portraits for Twitter tweets, and you can see your own data portrait of your Twitter account, and you can see your representation of your participation in Twitter, the followers, and the people you following, etc. And it's a quick way to know about yourself. It's possible. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.